Well, here's my completed restoration of my 1987 Pro Freestyle Tour. Gotta say, I like the way it turned out. It's pretty much the way I used to write it. Couple of differences. I didn't used to have the Power Series crank, so I've upgraded that, and I've added the T-model sticker accordingly. And although I did use those RL48 wheels, I used to have a free coaster, and this has a free fixie, which is it's either freewheel or a fixed wheel drive. But other than that, that was how I used to ride it. Well, okay, and the pedals. Those pedals didn't even exist back then. They're actually kind of new school. Well, there are pretty new school pedals, but I couldn't really find any old pedals I liked, and a lot of the old pedals were metal. Not really a fan of metal, and in fact I had replaced them with Graphite X pedals. But I mean, I've been waiting for months, and I haven't found any Graphite X pedals in white for 9/16 at all, much less for a reasonable price. The Jive Handles is what I used to run back then, and everything else is pretty much stock. I do have these Vancom tires, which are the knobbier tires as compared to the Freestyle, which were a lower profile tire. But I went through those Freestyle tires pretty quickly, and when I bought replacements, I bought the knobbier tires, but I think they were Shinkos. I think they were the BMX tires. But yeah, those are really hard to get, so these Vancom reproductions, pretty good. They're kind of a cross between, I think, the knobby Shinkos and the original Freestyle tires. But in any case, these tires are only 35 psi, and that's just not going to cut it for actually riding. So I've got some new Odyssey Path tires. They look pretty nice. They're white with a tan sidewall, and those are going to go on there. Those are 90 psi tires. So I'm going to be changing that pretty soon. They should be in the mail. In fact, I was surprised I didn't get them in the mail yesterday. So I'm going to swap those out, and I'm probably going to swap out those RL48s. I like them, but they have a hard anodized finish, and it doesn't break too well, just like I remember it and just how people were describing it. So I did buy some upgraded brake pads, and I'm going to try them, but if they don't work well, probably going to just go with shiny sides, some chrome wheels, because those will break a lot better. What else? That's about it. I think I'm just going to ride it the way it is. This is probably going to be the last time you're going to see it in this condition. So let's take a little tour around it. After today, it will probably be trashed, or at least starting to get trashed, on its way to getting trashed. So these turn out pretty well. These are Diacomp Nippon front brakes. And originally they were silver. I had them painted white, and when they came back white, of course, they didn't have this lettering in black. So I took an acrylic pen and I filled it in with black. And as you can imagine, it was very difficult to get the acrylic pen not to spill out over, because this is actually imprinted. I'm sure you can't really see it, but the logo and the lines are imprinted. So I filled it with ink and then just took my fingernail and just kind of scratched it off until it looked right. So it came out really well. And this Diacomp adjuster, I added that. Didn't come with that, but that turned out pretty well. What else? The Diacomp levers. Last time you probably saw them, they were painted, but not as nice as they are now. I took a sand sponge type thing and sanded these down, and took a wire brush and kind of went to town on these. This ended up gold for some reason. I'm not sure why, but it still looks pretty good. There's still a little bit of kind of rash there, but again, this is not going to last too much longer looking this nice anyway. What else? That's pretty much it. Everything is looking good. my first test run of the bike, when I ran it just across the living room, the whole chain wheel came undone. So I had forgotten to tighten it, and I cranked it like 2 feet, and the whole chain fell off and everything. So hopefully that's taken care of. Originally my upbuck headset was a little loose, so I tightened that up, and that's looking pretty solid now. I think that's it. It's done. Took me from late September 2010 till I think this is early March 2011. So it's quite a long time. Mentioned in the last video, a lot of that was because the bike frame and most of the parts were at the painters for like 2.5 months, but rest of that time was just getting parts, honestly, and learning how to put it together. There was a lot of stuff I didn't know how to do. I'd never taken apart or put in cranks before, but thanks to Rividude on the BMX Museum forum, he hooked me up with a visual how-to in one of the forum posts, so that helped a ton. And had never done a headset before, and the upbuck headset has this kind of weird-looking spring in there that can go backwards, and of course I ended up putting it in backwards, so that was kind of interesting. And then I had some issues putting in the race for the fork. Can't really see it. That was kind of hard to put in. And what else did I have? I had the axles on this front wheel hub aren't slotted. In other words, they're 3/8 axles, but there's full 3/8 axles, but the slot, when they go in, it's thinner than a 3/8, but it goes in thinner than 3/8, but then when it gets to the center, it's 3/8. So I had to file down part of the axles to fit through the little channel, and can't really see it, but then I got some washers in there that kind of fill in the space. So that was an adventure. That was not fun at all. Trying to find slotted 3/8 axles in 2011, they don't exist. I was pretty much told that if you needed slotted 3/8 axles, you pretty much had to steal them from another set because they didn't make them anymore. So I just made my own. What else did I have problems with? Not too much else. I have a funny story about these Jive Handles. As you can see, they have these plastic end caps, so when you fall down, it destroys the end cap and not the bar itself. And so these Jive Handles are basically hollow with no end. So when I bought them, they were brand new, old stock. They were still sealed, but I couldn't find these end caps in the hardware, the screw and the stuff that goes inside. So I sort of panicked because I had paid like $30 for these. That's kind of overpriced because you can buy them for like, I don't know, $8, or not these, but you can buy grips for like $8 to $10. But I wanted the Jive Handles that I used to have, and I was kind of pissed because I couldn't find the damn hardware. But turns out it was stuffed inside of one of the handles, and I just didn't notice it. I looked everywhere in the box for these, and I was kind of going nuts. Like, where am I going to find these? But luckily, I found a picture online where I could see somebody had taken a picture of the new old stock Jive Handles with a little baggie inside. I'm like, oh shit, it's probably in there, and sure enough. So that was cool that I actually found it. I almost just put them back on the shelf, thinking I just wasn't going to have the hardware. I think that's it. Everything else wasn't too bad. So I look forward to riding it. Maybe I'll put up another video where I've updated the wheels and the tires. Like I said, I might replace those RL Edge wheels to just some standard free coaster 48s or maybe 36s even. But we'll see. I'm getting kind of anxious to ride it. I'm kind of sick of not being able to get the tires dirty. That's sort of annoying, but I'm going to get them dirty and have some fun. So hope you have enjoyed the restoration project. And if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to contact me either through the YouTube comment section, or you can contact me at the bmxmuseum.com forums under Katsu, Katsu. All right, hope you enjoyed it. Until next time.